Let's kick some ice. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire released this past weekend in 2024 and is directed by Gil Kinnan, who has also directed such films like Monster House, City of Ember, the remake of Poltergeist, and A Boy Called Christmas. And this film is starring Paul Rudd, Carrie Coon, Finn Wolfhard, McKenna Grace, Kumail Nanjiani, Patton Oswalt, Celeste O'Connor, Logan Kim, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Annie Potts, and Ernie Hudson. The Spangler family have moved to New York and have made residence in the old Ghostbusters headquarters, and they have fully taken on the mantle of being the Ghostbusters and driving around town and capturing a whole bunch of ghosts. But this family still has some growing pains, in particular with Phoebe, who loves being a Ghostbuster, but the dickless mayor is not allowing her to be one because she is a minor. But that's okay, because Phoebe now has a brand new friend, a local ghost who plays chess with her in the park. And on the other side of this story, a mysterious brass orb is brought into Ray Stenson's mystical shop, and it contains the spirit of one badass ghost that, if released, will bring the next frozen ice age to the planet. And I know the ghost has an actual name, and I could look it up if I was a great reviewer, but all I could think about was this ghost being Arnold Schwarzenegger from Batman and Robin as his character Mr. Freeze, so I'm just gonna reference him as Arnold Schwarzenegger. I know it's not, but whenever he was on screen, I just wanted to hear an amazing ice pun. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age! Cool party! Tonight's forecast. A freeze is coming. If anything, that was the biggest disappointment that we didn't have in this movie, is the lack of ice puns. But maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger already used them up about 30 years ago, so you know, what do I know? Now, I just recently watched Ghostbusters Afterlife. I tried to stay away from it because I thought that this film was another cash grab at just putting a whole bunch of nostalgia on screen and fan service on screen. But to my surprise, I actually enjoyed Afterlife. I thought it was a great use of nostalgia, and I thought it was a great little eulogy for Egon, who was played by Harold Ramis, who passed away long before that film was ever made. So it was a nice setting to rest of him and that character. I thought it was a really nice film, but I still didn't have a lot of great expectations when coming into this one, because even though the first Ghostbusters is a staple, it's a great film, you take a look at the sequel where you have the Statue of Liberty walking through the street and a bunch of goo, positive goo being sprayed on people. Wasn't the best film. So when it comes to this franchise, if we're looking at sequels, I don't have high expectations. So because my expectations were so low, I actually kind of enjoyed this film. Does it have a lot of problems? Yes, absolutely. In particular with its story and its plot points, because they're just throwing everything at you in this film. There is a plot point of the ghost chamber in the basement of the Ghostbusters headquarters. Apparently they've just been putting ghosts in it since the 80s, and they never bothered to clean it out. Then there's the plot point with Phoebe and this neighborly ghost that she is befriending, possibly falling in love with, I'm not sure. We also have Trevor and his little antics with Slimer up in the attic, which was great to see Slimer back. We have Paul Rudd, who's trying to figure out where he stands in this family. Is he going to be the dad? And if he's going to be the dad, is he able to be the voice of authority and be able to discipline his kids as they go along? Then we're finding out more about this orb and the ghost that belongs inside of it. And then apparently Kumail Nanjiani's character plays a factor into all of this, and he has like pyrotechnic powers. There is so much to this movie that it gets very convoluted. It's not difficult to follow, it's just a lot being thrown at something that didn't have to be so complicated. We could have made this film a lot simpler, because usually when you take all of these aspects and you throw it into one giant script, some other aspect of the story gets affected by it, and in this case, it was definitely the characters. In particular with the character of Phoebe. I really liked this character from Afterlife. I thought she was intelligent, I thought she was imaginative. She's also a very layered character. She is on the spectrum. She doesn't understand things the way other people do, and vice versa. They don't understand things that she understands in her world. Afterlife made her out to be a very intelligent person, and then we move into this one, and it completely downgrades this character into being just an ignorant, stupid little kid. I am going to talk a little spoiler here, because this is an aspect of the film that it just felt like it was thrown in here because we needed something to connect this plot point to this plot point so that we can get to the climax. it's just a random thing that happens in here. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? So if you don't want to be spoiled on it, I would say pause this review, go watch the movie, and then come back and listen to my little rant on this stupid decision that Phoebe does in this movie. Okay, 3, 2, 1. So Phoebe's getting friendly with this ghost. You can definitely tell that this ghost is like a double agent working for Arnold Schwarzenegger. So she somehow convinces Phoebe to take her to the second site where they're keeping all of the new ghosts and they're doing all of the experiments, because Phoebe wants to remove her ghostly spirit from her body for 2 minutes so that something. Throughout the movie, she's very depressed because she's told that she can't be a Ghostbuster because she is a kid. And that apparently just makes her want to die, or like she's thinking she would be better off if she was just dead and a ghost. And then that makes her want to be a ghost, and then something happens to where she's like, hey, I know of a way where I can be a ghost for a short period of time. So she does the machine thing, she removes her spirit, and that allows Arnold Schwarzenegger to control her ghostly form to opening the orb. Which doesn't make sense. Like, why do you need her to do it? They kept saying, like, oh, see, we needed you to be able to open the orb. No, you didn't. You just needed a ghost to go over and press the thing. So why didn't Arnold Schwarzenegger control the body of the ghostly friend? Again, I'm not going to look up her name because I didn't really care. Why didn't he just take control of her once she was in the building, and then she could have gone over and pressed the button? Why did we need to do this? And then also, if you're controlling this Ghostbuster's body and she is a ghost, why not control her to, like, go away and not be near the vicinity of her body so that when the 2-minute time period is up, she can't reabsorb with herself? Or maybe she could. Maybe that's the rule here, where it just automatically reunites your spirit with your body after 2 minutes. I don't know. As you can tell, just listening to myself, it's a convoluted plot point that it was just thrown in here because we have this one storyline and we have this other storyline that we're trying to get to the climax with, but we have no glue to match them up with. So let's just do this very stupid thing with this character who used to be intelligent, but now let's make her a fucking dumbass, and that's gonna be the melding here. Perfect! It made me so angry. It just shook my head in the theater. Like, what the fuck? Fall from grace with this character. She was the best part of Afterlife, and here she is the freaking dumbass of the movie. And then she realizes, well, if I coat my compactor jetpack thing with brass, that's gonna make my beam affect the guy, the spirit. But I'm only going to do mine. I'm not going to do everyone else's. And I'm going to melt down the brass pole that we have in this Ghostbusters building. Even though when she cuts it up, you look at all the other times and characters just kept coming down the poles and there was no missing part. Oh, God. I will say when I walked out of the theater, I was okay. Like, I was thinking, this was fine. It was nice to go back to the movies. But as I'm talking about it here with you, my recollection of the movie is just getting worse and worse and worse. I still think it is a worthy sequel. It's fun to see this new generation of Ghostbusters with the old generation. We have Bill Murray coming back here. He's on screen for way longer. And they're all doing their Ghostbusters things together. I think that was really cool. Again, that plays into nostalgia, and nostalgia makes me happy. I like fan service because I'm a fan. But the more I talk about it, this film just gets worse and worse and worse because it's destroying a lot of the brand new characters that they've established in Afterlife, to the point where I don't want to see these new characters continue because they're all dumbasses. So I'm going to give Ghostbusters Frozen Empire 2 out of 5 Blu-rays. I've had better. So guys, if you've seen Frozen Empire, what did you think about it? What is your ranking of all 4 Ghostbusters films that have been released? Whatever you thought, comment below and let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I'm releasing next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.